Hello, this is your weekly, if you're not a patron, you should become a patron, content here on my Patreon page. So this week, what am I rifling around in my bag with? Well, these are Viking runes. How fun is that? We're going to talk about those a little bit. I am not going to give you the detailed history because I think it would be probably not factual and unfair since I do not know the detailed history of them. I do not know that off the top of my head. And I always like to talk about things that I know off the top of my head. I'm just that way. Anyway, I'm going to pull one and we're going to talk about it. They're really beautiful. This particular bag of runes I got, it's funny because I was just talking about this person today. I got them from a woman that I call Persephone. And I got them from her probably in the early 2000s, maybe. Or maybe late 90s. No, early 2000s, once I got back to the Bay Area. Anyway, these were given to me as a gift. They're wooden and lightweight, and they're beautiful. And I treasure them. And even though my friendship with Miss Persephone outgrew itself, I still have fondness and consider her a sister to me and appreciate everything that I learned from doing magical work with her and with Al. Okay, so look at this guy. This is the rune that I pulled. It's kind of nice. It looks like an M with a little triangle infinity symbol in it. If I was really, really smart and had all the memory that I needed to have, I would say, you know, these were based on the written language of the Vikings. Here, let's see, maybe there's something here. Runes, alphabetical divination symbols traditionally used in the by ancient Nordic tribes, and they've also been used by many European cultures as a magical tool, an oracle similar to the I Ching or Tarot. Our Viking ancestor believed that the runes held the meaning to life in their symbolism, and casting the runes is a positive way to gain insight and wisdom into your own or another's personal life events and developments. Runes make a powerful psychic link with your inner awareness and can illuminate your path towards growth and fulfillment. So here's the thing. We can kind of pull cards or divination tools like these runes, or my glasses are crooked, I hate that, or use like a pendulum or something like that. We can kind of get insights about other people from them, but do not confuse that with trying to control another person's behavior with by using divination or magic for that matter, because it's just not cool, man. The most important path for us is our own path and allowing our own path to unfold and dealing with our own shit without manipulating others. Anyway, but I have been known, and I think it's totally okay if you can do it without projecting a bunch of stuff onto it, which is very difficult if you're very, very invested in a specific outcome with another human being. We'll get back to the rune in a minute. This just came up and it needs to be said. If you're very, very invested in having a specific outcome with another human being, you may not be able to trust your interpretation of whatever card or rune that you pull or any form of divination, because your desire for things to be the way that you want them to be will get in the way. That doesn't mean that you never get what you want. That just means that allowing it to unfold the way it naturally needs to unfold is much better than trying to manipulate the situation. And if you're not clear about that, and if you're not willing to be open to whatever the message is, whatever needs to happen, as opposed to let's steer this, you know, border collie it into happening, then it makes it difficult. It's not, you're not going to get clear information. Let's just put it that way. I know, because that's why a lot of people say that you can't read your own tarot. You can't read for yourself. It takes a long time to get to the point where you're able to read the cards for yourself and get the message, get at least the majority of the message that's being put across in a clear and receive it in a clear and unbiased manner. It's very difficult to do that because we want our fucking way, right? Sorry about the F-bombs and the shit bombs, the merd. Anyway, so let's go back to this. This rune is man. I guess M for man. All right, let's get there. Yep. Oh, this rune signifies legal affairs and wise counsel and assistance. So I guess that this rune would signify the need for structure, the need for some sort of structure, some sort of outline, some sort of, not necessarily rules, but at least an outline. Because creativity is great and free, but also sometimes needs a structure, not to rein it in, but to spread out in, to launch off, grounding, some security to ground off, ground to launch from, some ground to launch from. You know, if I could speak, it would be great, wouldn't it? So that's kind of what I'm seeing about this particular rune. And also asking for assistance and support, asking for wise counsel. So I like that it's asking for wise counsel when I was just talking about reading for yourself and how sometimes it can be very difficult to do that if you're very, very invested in an answer. Like, for instance, you're trying to figure out how somebody feels about you. You're going to pull cards or whatever you do, read poop, whatever you do. Some people do that. And if you're doing it for yourself, you're going to probably, if you're very invested in the relationship and in how you want them to feel about you, you may not get a clear message. You may have to do somersaults and pretzel contortions to get that message to fit, to, as the crappy childhood fairy would say, crap fit what you want. That's why sometimes when you are in an intense situation or intense emotional, like you're feeling intense emotionally, that if you do pull cards, you need to take them with a grain of salt. Or you can pull them, take a picture of them, write them down, and vow to look at them later to see how accurate that they could possibly be. Because initially you're gonna either not like the card that you pulled or turn the card that you pulled into something that it's not, because you were very, very invested in having an answer right then and there. And it's not coming from a clean place. It's coming from a very grasping, clinging place. And that's really hard to get clear information when you're coming from a grasping, clinging place. Let's do another rune for fun. Although that didn't sound fun now, did it? Oh, I like this one. We pulled this one. Ta-da! Oh my goodness. Then I got distracted. You know, I really like my Apple Watch, but it distracts me sometimes. Ethel. Ethel Merman? No, I'm just kidding. This rune is called Ethel, or maybe Ethel. And keep in mind, probably not pronouncing them right, because I'm not crafty that way. But if I find out it's different, I'll let you know. Ethel, material or genetic inheritance. That's interesting. So material or genetic inheritance. It's what we get from our family, what we get from our bloodline. It's from our bloodline. So we've got structure, wise counsel, support or assistance, and what we get from our bloodline. So this kind of ties into, you know, what we're given by our family. So I could read this as, okay, so we get this outline, a general vague outline, a general vague structure from our family, from our bloodline. We're born into it. You know, they pass the stories down. It goes through, you know, it goes through, and we repeat some of the patterns. We break some of the patterns. We move beyond some of the limitations that our forebears had. And, you know, but we are still part of that bloodline or that family. Okay. So these, keep in mind, the runes are much more kind of a couple words, straightforward, in these meanings. Now, there may be books that have much more extensive meanings of each of these runes, and I might see if I can look into it, because that might be fun to look at. Because these remind me of the old tarot decks where the meanings, some of the book meanings are kind of crude and harsh and blunt, and I didn't like them, because it didn't account for like intuition and subtlety and everything. And maybe I'm just picky. Maybe I just like to be nice. Heaven forbid that I just like to be nice. I like to, even when I'm telling people the truth that seems like a harsh truth, I think there's a way to be kind. And I will always find the way to be kind. It takes a lot to push me into a place where I wouldn't be kind, and I would never, absolutely ever do that with the majority of human beings on this planet, or animals. Anyway, I love you guys. This has been a super long freebie, but I would like for you to enjoy it and become patrons if you want deeper dives into the Fairies Oracle and into some of the tarot cards, and I'll do some more. Bye.